Okay, we'll call the September 5th Management Services meeting to order. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? All in favor? Aye. Are there any public comments? Seeing none? Chris, you're up. No, she's on next. She's the next thing on the agenda.
Inspection wise this month, Metro Power was just here to do their semi-annual service on all three generators in the buildings. They come twice a year. Once they do a full service and change the oil and do some things. And this one is just kind of a partial one. Yeah, that's my on that subject, her request to the sheriff.
Yeah, well, that's great.
And Mr. Hesta, we had to have that office put on generator power in the jail, starting the courthouse basement. There's some radio stuff in there, and they had lots of meetings down there. There's probably down there, there's a large and two small offices. None of that was on generator. I was always going to be something that was down there. Let me know when you have power outage. Earlier this spring, he was like, hey, something about this and stuff. Long story short, that got hooked up to our generator back up, so that's good. A few small issues in the jail. A vent stack that had left completely contained and had a squirt back up. It was backing up out of that on top of the cells below it. That's a lot to take care of. Had some service done. Had some service done on the jail doors. The past few years, I've been having a gentleman come up who travels all around the United States servicing these particular retrofit sliders that I put in like 8 years ago. Well, that gentleman said he was not coming up to this area anymore, so I was having a heck of a time finding someone, and luckily Ron, who's installed the product, referred me to Valley Security of Elgin, and they were more than happy to come down here. And it's very specific what is going on up in those cell doors. You can't just call a mechanic or engineer, that sort of thing, or even myself. These guys come in, they service them, they do all these little adjustments on them because they were having some issues with a couple of the sliders. There was one that was hanging up when they were trying to open it. Another one was a gear on a rail that was acting up. He was just here last week, got that taken care of. We're here at the admin building, was it a week ago Tuesday when we had that 97-degree day. We had a heat pump freeze up. That was the only issue we had with anything over here. Let it thaw out, and came in charge at home. And I wasn't aware that the city was going to come back and do all the grading of the tile that was put in. I thought that was something we were going to have to take care of. I didn't know that was part of their agreement, but a couple weeks ago, I see the city, they were out there 2 days and they were grading all out. They were bringing a lot of dirt over to where supposedly someday there's going to be a morgue. I still wondering about that, but that's all right, that's a sore subject. But and then they pulverized it and they planted grass and everything. So maybe it was too soon, I don't know. But if that's an issue down the road, we'll bring that out. If it starts to sink in spots, I guess we can address that down the road. That's pretty much it. This coming month, in September, maybe beginning of October, I service all the boilers. It takes me a couple days to go around and do all that with those. I have some kits left over with some parts that I'd swap out on them. We clean the exchanger and some other things. And I'll probably be buying this month at some point this fall a couple pallets of salt. I have 2 in the shed right now and then a partial one. And even last year with that mild winter we had, we still went through a couple pounds of salt. So I'll be picking up a couple more of those just to have on hand, for price goes up or, we get some crazy month and it's not available or something. So I just like to have it on hand. That's pretty much all I have here. I know everyone's probably eager to get moving, so I'll shut up.
Assessment this morning asked me, there's a box on the wall that was an old alarm system maybe.
Okay,
They were wondering if that could get removed.
okay. I'll go there, look at it, I'll talk to him.
Okay.
I'll poke my head there after I leave here.
Thanks.
Last month, we talked about, somebody was interested in that chain link fence, when the exchanging this.
Yeah, that's a done deal, that's good to go. He said that he agreed and he's gonna get out the mulch, bring in dirt. I think I'm gonna plant grass seed, but no, he thought that was a great deal and he said he was gonna be getting on it and,
Just hasn't happened yet.
what's that?
It just hasn't happened.
No. And, I forewarned him because it wasn't totally approved at the full board yet because we agreed to it at management. And I don't know if that even came up at the full board, but I said, don't do it before this coming Tuesday. He goes, oh no, it's not gonna be for actually probably several weeks, so. But it's still in the works and it hopefully get done this fall.
All right. Next thing, discussion action on cell tower lease. Give us your proposal.
Hi, my name's Katie Berg. I'm here on behalf of Verizon Wireless, and basically I'm here to see if there's any interest in leasing out some space for a cell tower. We're looking for approximately 100 feet by 100 feet, plus, access and utility easements to get to the tower. I know you guys as a county own a lot of property right here in this area. We were looking at somewhere near any of these buildings.
Point out any place in particular?
Yeah, so we have this right here. I mean, we would be fine going like right here or over here. And I know the board, I think it's going right here. So I mean,
The board is going.
Yeah.
Right on.
right here. So I mean, we'd be fine going anywhere where we have the, we prefer to be a little bit closer to a road because it's a shorter access and shorter for utilities. And it interferes less with any of the farming that's happening, but that is basically what we're looking for is just about 100 by 100 for a cell tower. It would be a 50-year lease total. We're looking at $800 a month that we would be giving with a 1.5% escalator per year. So this is just to see if there's any initial interest. If you guys are interested, we would proceed going forward with, meeting on site, making sure everything works for our team as well as the county, and proceeding on from there.
Will there be power lines buried or anything?
We would need to get power in, we would have to coordinate like the power company here. Can't quite recall, is this Cameron area?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we would work with it.
And I didn't catch your last name.
Oh, sure, it's Groark, Groark.
How tall?
We would be under 200 feet.
Like 195 or something?
Probably, we would be around 190, 195. We're still a little preliminary, but generally, that's about where we go.
Would this interfere with anything that the televisions or
No.
satellites?
And you were with Verizon, is that what you said?
Yes, I'm here representing
With
Verizon.
Verizon.
But this tower would be designed to be what we call co-locatable. Verizon works with tower partners who build the tower and own it. And when other carriers would then be able to go on the tower. So you have,
Other carriers.
so T-Mobile, AT&T, they could also go on the tower.
So Verizon is not going to be the actual owner of the tower.
That's correct.
What did you say the third party agent was?
There's a couple different companies. I do not know who would be it for the actual tower owner.
So who do we sign, if we did this, who do we sign the lease with?
I would have that for you at that point, but at this initial point, I don't know who it would be right yet.
And they would be the ones that would pay us.
Yes,
And will there be chain link around it?
we would follow code. Generally, we do chain link.
Good question.
How close to power lines can it be?
Well, if
Because there's power lines that go right here.
I mean, we can be, we would follow code to be far enough away from power line that we would have to be. And I mean, I've been within 50 feet of a power line, I can tell you that much.
First time down our line, so you take a closer look, please.
Do you have some concerns? I'd like you to say something, that you want to see kind of where they're looking.
Well, I think we're kind of open on that.
Yeah, we're kind of open in terms of the area, but I was looking here, some of the existing buildings, where possibly we could go. We could go in between here, we could go behind the building, over here, back this way, or even anywhere over here, although I do know the morgue's right there.
Well, how big the grass area is over next to the morgue? Is that 100-foot wide there, or?
It's much wider than that.
Yeah.
So we could actually do it on the grass possibly that's already existing.
We can travel going through there too.
Aesthetically, I don't know as if you would want to have it right in here, especially not right here.
Yeah.
Back in here would not be as bad. Now, will there be a generator as well?
There will be a generator, the generator typically is diesel.
Yeah.
Again, this is stuff that we do confirm as we go along through the process, exactly what we use, but there would be a generator, just in case power goes out.
Is there anything besides other cellular carriers that could be added to that tower?
It's generally cellular carriers, but I mean, we have worked with, first response and have worked with other, like your sheriff's office, who might want to put something on there. So that it is capable of, holding that type of equipment.
Would that come at a cost to us, or would that be included in the agreement?
Sorry. Typically, that would be something we'd work out in the lease, when we get further along.
So I assume that they would show us all the proper insurance liability and otherwise we'd be provided with that kind of stuff. Additionally, so you're saying that under a contract, we've received $800 from a third party, but additional users could be added to. Would that increase the amount? Is there a provision as additional users come onto the tower? Is there an increase in the revenue?
No, there would not be an increase in the revenue.
Okay, so if you're ready to, say it's outdated, you're gonna take it down, but you guys plan for that, or you?
Yes, we do plan for that. If the tower needs to come down, that is planned for.
What would be about the life expectancy on the installation?
The installation, well, there are towers that are, God, I mean, cell technology was first in the 80s, there are towers that are that old. This would be designed to be lasting for the life of the lease, which, like I said, would be about 50 years, would be 50 years.
We're not gonna be around.
Well, I was wondering if under the 50-year lease, they would want to come in 28 years and update the tower.
So if there is
A
anything,
newer material, put up a new tower.
so if anything would need to happen, we'd have to come to the county to get approvals for permitting and things like that. But typically, the towers are designed to last for that length of time, and they're designed structurally to be capable of all this different technology. Sometimes we do modify them, add additional, well, I guess what we call stiffening to make sure everything passes per code. And that tends to be older towers that aren't designed as rigorously as they are today. But that would be something that we would, I don't think it would be very likely, but it is something we would have to come to the county at that point if something were to happen at like 28 years.
Do we know how far from residential it has to be?
We
Is
don't,
there any code on that?
there is a
or-
code on it, and we would be compliant with code. If the areas we're looking at are pretty decently far from residential, far enough away that it wouldn't affect the
Do we know what that number is?
I do not remember offhand. I did look at it previously, but I do not have that. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't think of that when I talked to you yesterday, so. Otherwise, you could have been prepared, but sorry.
No.
So you said 800 a month with a 1% per year increase.
1.5.
1.5.
10 grand a year
Total.
income. Maybe you won't.
9,600. Let's try to figure out the number.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Didn't you have a tower that you put your star cable on?
Yeah, they were looking at the Donovan site, but that was more to bolster the Willow Slough area.
Okay.
But yeah, if there's a tower going up, if we can, Starcom could add, which Verizon, service is going to add, benefit to our Starcom system. But if Starcom and a dispatch can have an antenna on that tower, it would definitely be beneficial,
Okay.
especially with the generator, since they require a generator.
Okay, then you wouldn't want that one still up and
We would still, yes. Yeah.
What do you pay for them? Using a tower dollar?
Starcom, I believe it is.
Oh, it's just included?
Oh, it's not.
Okay. Why is there, if I may ask, a code for residential distance? Is it a just aesthetic thing, or is there a safety issue, or what is?
Honestly, most jurisdictions have a code for residential, mostly because people don't usually want it that close.
Right.
Just more aesthetics more than anything else. And particularly here in Iroquois County, you have a lot of land that it doesn't, where you don't need to be right at a residential area. So that's preferred, is to be just a little further away. All of the towers are designed to, if there were anything to happen, they're designed to collapse in on themselves. So it wouldn't fall like a tree, it would literally like bend.
Is there a time frame in which you need to have a decision made?
I mean, the sooner you could tell us, the better. Or at least if you have an interest, we can, what we do is we run it past our RF engineers, make sure everything works. Like I said, we come out here and we look at everything, and we would be providing you with an initial site sketch after we do that to confirm the location. It is generally, to get it all done, about a year process before we would get anywhere close to building. Just going through all of the environmental and regulatory procedures, which we would handle.
So it wouldn't be unthinkable that we'd ask for 30 days to discuss this and get back to it.
No, I mean, you can take 30 days, we'd love to know more, or faster than that, yes.
Well, I'm just going on, we only meet once a month and I doubt that we make a decision today.
Well, I think we can maybe express interest in that.
Right, right. Time to look further.
Right, and of course, we'd have to bring a lease before you, if there are, yes, so
Could
it would be a process.
Could you get us a sample lease prior to the next meeting with, redacted information on it so we could have our state's attorney look at it?
I can try, I can't guarantee that, depends on who, I'd have to submit to our RF engineers, and they sometimes are not overly fast. I could probably definitely get it to you by the meeting afterwards, but I could try. I can't guarantee it.
I'm assuming you use sort of a standard lease form. And so if you could redact any personal information and just let us see the terms.
Okay, I could probably swing that, yes. Yes,
Yeah, because we said it'd be about a year-long process.
yes, it would. So you could probably get someone to sign.
Email them to Lyle
No.
or Jill or
To
Oh, Jill.
yeah,
It needs to go through Jill,
first.
that way she can disseminate it and I don't lose it.
All right.
Yes,
Do we need to have a motion to express interest in doing it?
Yeah, I would say to pursue the matter further.
Make a motion to pursue the matter.
I'll second it.
We're not spending any money at this time, so all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we will pursue it further.
I will go ahead, I will, submit to our radio frequency engineers, make sure that everything's kosher on their end. And we'll get back to you about coming out and, looking at the area.
Well, we want to see at least two,
Yes,
the length of it.
yes.
Yeah, we got, and if you can get us that distance from residential, then,
That might be.
you know, the sheriff was looking at this area here.
Yeah, I think he also mentioned over here.
Yeah.
I would think they need to come out and look at where they could get an idea of footing it too.
So,
Just us looking at least is not gonna help them get any more information.
But you know how long it takes us to get,
Oh, I,
you know,
absolutely.
things go slow on our end too.
By having them come out and look at it, that's not saying we're gonna do it.
No, of course.
So at some point, you're gonna, I guess at some point, we need to get together, your people, some of the ones on the committee that are interested, and do a walkthrough maybe as to our options. So I guess if we get that far, hopefully before winter, to walk through.
yeah, we would probably want to do that in October, even depending on where it goes, we need it.
Any other?
Probably sooner rather than later, so we stay out of my list and then
Then maybe we will, I guess if we get notice, we can maybe have the areas Julian, so we know where utilities are and stuff.
You know, we usually do run a private locate.
Okay, you do.
We do.
Could we possibly do that like next month after the meeting and go on a walkabout when we're done at its table?
As far as I know, we can.
So why don't we give her, what's the date of next month's meeting, let me see here. That's October, right? Or the first Monday, that's October 7th.
It's not that, it's true.
Well, I know, the second, oh, wait a minute, the second Tuesday is the 8th. Oh, yeah, the 8th. So we're gonna be meeting again on August 30th.
No, September 30th.
Yeah, that's what I said. September 30th after the meeting to go on a walkabout. Works for me.
Having that meeting. So,
Anyone have any other questions?
Is the amount negotiable? Any changes negotiable?
The percentage increase is not negotiable.
it's a, take it or not.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to animal control building and more. Is there any updates on anything? More?
Where's that going?
I don't know, we may decide to move it to someplace else and
Start over.
some more.
So the morgue, I know the materials have been ordered. There was an issue with the colors that were picked out. They were reversed. So Mark cleared that up with John Schur, so that's all been fixed. The only other thing with the morgue is potentially talking about coroner's automation, and he's currently paying rent, $1,500 a month, and he's worried about that getting spent down too much, so we may need to look at paying for that rent somewhere else.
Is the site work been started?
Yeah.
So it's just not moving very fast.
Apparently materials issue, I don't know when the plumber is going to put the stuff in the ground, if that's before or after the building.
Well, will it be done by bad weather?
Not completely, hopefully it'd be dried in,
You mean walls up?
Yeah.
So we can work inside?
hopefully.
Hopefully that my gas will back up so I can have heat.
That would be good.
They keep it even.
I asked for some.
Well, maybe you might want to mention that to them then.
I have.
So ARP is gonna meet at 1:00. So do we have any bills submitted or money expended that we know so far? No? Was that the answer?
No, she was talking to the sheriff.
I don't think she's answered your question.
Miss Jill?
Sorry, I'm talking about that.
ARP is gonna meet at 1:00. So has any money been expended or have we paid any bills in connection with the mower?
Yes.
How much?
You can get that for ARPA.
We paid 50% of the cost to Johnny Martin to order materials and supplies and for fuel. So 50% of what his original award was. Give me 2 seconds and I'll get to that.
Okay, if you want to, I don't need to know that during this meeting, you can, so we can keep moving here since,
What about the animal control fence?
unless people here want to.
That has not been started and I have not spent any funds on that yet.
There's nothing going on over there with that yet.
Is that Johnny doing that also?
Yep.
So $55,250 was given to Martin Construction for ordering supplies and fuel for the site work. The other 50% will get paid upon completion.
Okay, anything else on those?
Now I want to back up to the cell phone tower. You know what, did you hear what she said, John? When you said, was it negotiable? She said, no, the percent increase isn't negotiable. I think, you know, if you had an easement go through your property or anything, I've asked for $100 more, $250 more, or something, and they usually always cough it up.
Your renter don't tell you how much you're renting for.
Right, right.
If they want it badly.
I think we should hit them up for $1,000 a month.
We can do that, plus we can give the sheriff his tower.
Right.
Try to get that.
What she said was it's standard, and so you can try, but they might just say, no, we'll find another place.
Well, you don't ask, you don't get.
Right. But she said, because I had asked her about that, and she said, that's the standard, that's what it is.
Well,
They can watch, take no for an answer.
are we, yeah.
Now, whether or not,
Somebody to put something up on that tower.
Well, that's my other, what will their revenues be? How many people will be on the tower? Because in my opinion, that would should certainly be reflected in our rental amount.
Right.
You know, if they're gonna be making $2,500 a month, I think I'd want $1,250.
well,
Yeah.
and maybe instead of asking for more money, we say as a part of the deal, the sheriff gets to use the
Right.
tower
Well,
too.
that's what, yeah,
Yeah,
That would be good.
you know,
of course, that should be it.
you know, because if the sheriff uses the tower and they're charging us for it, they could theoretically up the amount over the years, over 50 years. If it's part of the lease that we get use of that tower, they're really not out anything.
Right.
And the other thing is we need to think about when they add users, they're gonna come in and there's gonna be some disruption with bringing in equipment to put another, I don't know, what do you wanna call it? A dish or whatever, on an antenna on that tower. I mean, so there is gonna be eventually, although it might not be every day, but from time to time, there will be people coming in, presumably with some heavy equipment, to get up on the tower. I don't think it hurts to ask. I wonder where we could find out,
What they pay.
yeah,
Or-
where could we get that information?
If you know where to dig, the cell companies are all publicly traded, so that would be somewhere buried in their stuff.
I mean,
But you
because
gotta know,
wouldn't we feel foolish to find out that they put 10 dishes up there and they're raking in 30 grand a month and we settled for 800?
Yeah, I think first things first is you need to just leave it at, she's gonna email me the information, and then once I get it, we can go through it and go from there. I mean, you can do a lot of what ifs.
Yeah.
You know, but until we actually get the information and go back and forth with them.
There might be a killer right there flying.
well, and they're probably giving a rate that, you know, they're taking the risk, because it's not one of the cell phone companies that's actually doing it. So they may put it up, and in 10 years, none of those companies are on that tower anymore.
Well, and actually, we don't know who the third party is, and if we, I'm assuming they're legit, but that's a question we want to ask ourselves. Is that somebody we want to do business with?
Right, but isn't there a list of people that we can't do business with? Was there something
It'd be
about
good
that?
to know that wasn't a Chinese company building the tower.
Exactly. I don't know of any list. I'm not sure if I understand your question.
Someplace that.
At one time, schools had an approved vendor list, but I don't know that the county has that other than what we've made ourselves.
Of course we did.
Okay,
Well, that's what the lease when it comes to.
yeah. And we'll walk around and look.
County farm management issues.
Leave the money in the farm account.
Did the lease get returned, signed?
I just have it yesterday. Yesterday and Friday. Yes, it's, everything's signed, it's in the clerk's office.
Anybody got anything else on the farm?
You know, it'd be something. Just maybe.
Right.
I made some inquiries and all I found out was he's just like blocking another
Yeah, farm.
mega farm.
That's all I heard.
He's a good enough guy, I didn't hear anything negative.
Good.
Keep pace it up. Okay. There's nothing else? Anybody got questions on the claims? Motion to approve?
I'll make that motion. Approve claims.
Second.
I'll second.
Whenever you're ready.
Bowers,
Yes.
Spence,
Yes.
Crum,
Yes,
Zumwalt,
Yeah.
Terrence.
Yes. Any old business?
move to adjourn.
I gotta ask new business first.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now there's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned.